My colleague on Sign Language this evening is Damien Evans. Remember, you can follow the updates on Twitter at KTN News KE. That's the Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is at Freddy Lemuli. We're also streaming live on YouTube. KTN News Live, that's the page. Now, for the better part of yesterday night and today, news of an alleged siege or intended arrest of immediate former Interior CS, Dr. Fred Matiang, has dominated headlines in both social and traditional media. Now, just what happened at the residence of the former cabinet secretary? Well, as it turns out, the alleged raid on the residence may not have happened after all. Security agencies, as well as the ESCC and Kenya Revenue Authority have all dismissed the arrest claims, with DCI accusing Matiang of faking the whole incident to incite the public. Now, however, the former powerful CS who handled the critical security docket has moved to court and obtained an anticipatory bail to forestall any attempts to arrest him. Daniel Karaoke has a twist.
The claims went fast, saying that a contingent of elite police officers had surrounded the home of the former CS with the aim of arresting the former powerful Interior CS.
Well, I've just received information.
The reports would see Azimio leader Raila Odinga and several lawyers head to Matiang's home into the night, Odinga accusing the government of attempting to falsely accuse and frame the former CS.
Police have surrounded the home of former Minister for Internal Security, Mr. Matiang.
Was invaded with a garrison or a battalion of unidentified people from the security apparatus of this country.
But come Thursday morning, things seem to have taken a new twist after the Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, denied claims that the police officers raided Matiang's Nairobi home on Wednesday night. The claims catching the eye of Kenya Kwanza MPs who accused Matiang of a well-choreographed drama.
We want to ask Raila Odinga, because he had his phone, and the script of this drama had his phone there, to share with Kenyans one photograph, one video, or anything they have of 8 officers that were around Matiang's house.
Even some of us who are practitioners in the trade do not involve ourselves in putting the trade of acting, the trade of directing, and the trade of producing scripts into such disrepute.
According to the legislators, the act was intended at inciting Kenyans so as to invoke public sympathy.
He has everything to fear, but he need not worry that anybody will raid his house in the middle of the night.
Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has also dismissed the alleged police raid. In a statement to newsrooms, CS Kindiki stated that no police officers were sent to Matiang's home, dismissing claims made by leaders who spoke about the incident. Kindiki also confirmed that he had inquired about the matter with the National Police Service, ESCC as well as KRA, and none gave indications of sending officers to the current home of Matiang. This, as the Directorate of Criminal Investigations confirmed that they are investigating former Interior CS Matiang on a number of issues. While confirming an ongoing probe, DCI Director Mohamed Amin says the probe is yet to get into a stage where Matiang will be required to record a statement with the police. But that has not stopped Matiang from moving to court to seek anticipatory bail, which he was granted by Judge Kanyi Kimondo. Matiang, in his application, arguing that the Monday night raid of his current home is a political witch hunt by President William Ruto's government.
A claim that the CS should provide CCTV footage of the people who were there. Whose responsibility is it?
Whatever Matiang did when he was working, he did it when he was working. If there is anything against him, it's in plain view. Call him in court. We shall defend him.
With the raid now turning an accusation and counter-accusation between the two warring political sides, could this have been a raid that was not, or could the government be shifting the political game to their opponents?
We advised Matiang, we advised Kibisho and those who were in power then, that power is so transient and temporal.
We are now witnessing what this country has been through before. The times of late night arrests and detentions of people without any formal charges.
Azimio and Kenya Kwanza have been on a war of words recently. The war majoring on taxes, and the latest has now moved to home raid. This is expected to escalate political temperatures in the coming days. Daniel Kariuki, KTN News.
Now, the love-hate relationship between those serving in the Kenya Kwanza government and those who served in the previous Jubilee regime under President Uhuru Kenyatta, it appears to have taken a different direction, with emotions running high and the war getting personal. And what political pundits are now terming revenge served hot, those currently serving in government appear to be using the same methods to frustrate the previous officials of the same justice system. Our senior political affairs reporter Chris Thairo revisits some of the past incidents that have turned the hunted into the hunter.
In the run-up to the 2022 general election,
so, Bwana DCI, I'll not get into any cell. You'll kill me.
The abrupt arrest of senior politicians and businessmen on allegations of corruption or tax evasion by the previous Jubilee regime seemed to be the norm, turning it into a Kamata Fridays affair. Reason: one needs to be arrested on a Friday and will have to spend the entire weekend until Monday to be presented in court.
Sheria haiwezi kukubagua, utachukuliwa hatua. Hata kama wewe ni mheshimiwa mjumbe wa bunge, hata kama wewe ni waziri kama mimi, huwezi kukubaliwa kuvunja sheria.
But I have one thing to tell you, Matiang. Anytime you are in a position of power, remember there will be a day you will exit. And your day is becoming closer and closer and closer.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was one of the victims of the state of affairs, spending a whole weekend behind bars, a scenario that was seen to be replicated to other politicians, especially those who were close to the then Deputy President William Ruto.
You prepare to commit a crime, then you go to court and come up with an anticipatory order. We are hearing it's an invention in Kenya's judicial system, an anticipatory order, so you can't be arrested.
Power is temporary. That there will come a time that they will not be in power and they will rely on a judge to keep them from abusers of power like themselves as they are doing right now.
Ndio, ukweli ni kwamba wakati mwingine tunakuwa wakali, kwa sababu waje niseme hata hapa mkiwa hapa, sisi hatupenagi mambo ya upuzi kubebana hivi, kazi lazima ifanywe.
Please treat us with some level of respect like human beings. Ndio tukikutana kwa street tuweze kusalimiana, because your day, Matiang, is coming in a very short time.
Wale wanafanya kazi katika ofisi ya rais, Matiang na Kibisho, we want to put them on notice that we will not accept you to incite the people of Kenya.
I frankly don't like spending time commenting on some of these flippant and petty political things, because a lot of people lie all the time. You know, some of them now lie like a career. You know, it's like that's what they went to school to be trained. You saw those lies yesterday. You know, people lying, they lie about anything. They can't tell you anything. Probably the only truth about them is their name.
Today, you may have the latitude to do what you think will be right as per you. Tomorrow, the shoe will be on the other leg.
And just like President William Ruto had prophesied, indeed, the shoe now is on the other side, in what seems as a sweet revenge by those now in government. Those who served in the former regime are now crying foul over alleged political witch hunt.
They are not just targeting Uhuru, they are targeting us as well. Maybe you might not know this, Baba, but having been a defense minister, I had about 4 security officers. 3 were withdrawn. But the day I was seen in Kibra, the next day, the only remaining police officer assigned to me was also withdrawn. As we speak, there is the attempt to intimidate.
There are those today who may be running scared because they know investigative agencies are on their work and they are catching up with them. There are those who looted public assets with impunity. Those who waived taxes and KRAs on their case.
Form and ready for your inspection, sir.
With the latest developments on former Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang that have now forced him to seek anticipatory bail, the big question now is whether those who cried foul yesterday are using the same justice system to frustrate their former tormentors. Chris Dairo, KTN News, Nairobi.
Yes, senior political affairs reporter Chris Dairo. Now, ODM members of parliament who visited President William Ruto now face possible expulsion from the party after the party's disciplinary organ announced it had officially started the process of cracking the whip. There was also drama during the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya parliamentary group meeting today, as the MP for Langata, Felix Odiwuor, better known as Jalango, was kicked out of the meeting for being part of a group of MPs that visited President William Ruto without the party's consent. And as KTN's political affairs reporter Emmanuel Tor now explains, the party leader Raila Odinga has termed the MPs who visited Ruto as traitors.
This was the situation at the main entrance to the venue for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya parliamentary group meeting held at the Manzoni Lodge, Machakos County. Langata MP Felix Odiwuor, also known as Jalango, facing it rough as he tried to access the hall. The first-time MP now says he will not apologize for his actions.
When Baba walked in, one of his close security asked me to walk out to apologize, having met the president. There's no apology about it. I went there for development.
His actions and that of his 7 other colleagues who rushed for a handshake with President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi on Tuesday, attracting the attention of the party boss who took no prisoners.
If you want to go and see Mr. President as a personal friend in State House, go. But if you want to go and talk about issues that affect the party, then you must be given permission by the party before you go to see the president. What you see, these people must be seen for what they are, traitors in the cause of a revolution.
But imagine the state of mind poor Jalango is in. Because Kibra now is his hostile ground. You know, you're supposed to enjoy your tour of duty.
Cohabitation, dining, whining with Kenya Kwanza by any member from Jubilee. It is against the position of the party, and it is also against the position of Azimio.
Odinga termed the Ruto ODM meeting as political prostitution and dared those who have defected to resign from their seats.
This is very cheap and principled for a political party to say, after the elections, you're now resigning and now going to join another coalition, the one you ran against. That is political prostitution.
If you are in a political party and elected on that political party ticket, if you are tired of being in that political party, the most honorable thing to do is to resign and seek fresh mandate.
Apart from Jalango, the other 7 MPs who met President Ruto were no-show. The Orange Party now says it will start the process of cracking the whip on the rogue members. Migori Senator Eddie Okech has already written to ODM asking for the expulsion of the members.
The moment I will get that letter, then I will do a show cause letter based on it. If that, depending on how they respond, then they will be referred to the party's disciplinary committee.
The former Prime Minister now says he will not back down from calling out the Kenya Kwanza government for the skyrocketing cost of living occasioned by the ballooning taxation.
So let's go to the people, the power to the people. So we are going to have these consultative meetings, and they're not going to last very long, but we must have them.
Azimio parliamentary group retreat will continue tomorrow before a public rally slated for Mavoko, Machakos County in the afternoon. Aluta continua was the message during the first day of the parliamentary group meeting for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya party, as the party now plans to crack the whip on members who've already been labeled as traitors for working with President William Ruto's administration. Emmanuel Tor, KTN News, Manzoni Lodge, Machakos County.
Now, away from the politics, one person died and 2 others remain buried underneath a gold mine that collapsed in Sigalagala, Kakamega County early today. 9 people were rescued alive and are receiving treatment. Now, according to the miners who responded to the distress call of their colleagues, the incident happened at 2 a.m. after the tunnel's weak walls caved in. Another mine at Emachesiru, Shinyalu, in the same county of Kakamega, has also been reported to have collapsed, killing a 67-year-old man. Alan Ochanda with details.
At the Sigalagala gold mine in Kakamega County, it is rest against time for these artisan miners, as every second counts, lest the worst happens to their 12 colleagues who got stuck beneath the mines that caved in. Eugene Buhala and Godfrey Mabia have been doing the mining craft for a while, and they say when the incident happened, they were in an adjacent site. A loud bang was heard, and at first they assumed, but a security man came calling.
Tulisikia mlipuko na tukujua ni mlipuko ya nini. Tukaanza kuulizana nini imefanyika. Sasa baada ya lizali moja kama saa 8 kijana mmoja akakuja. Akatuuliza mko sawa? Akaniita akaniambia fundi, mimi siko sawa. Huko mali nafanya kazi, shimo imepasuka na imeanguka.
The two responded to the distress call and thank God their efforts bore fruits due to good coordination.
Uzuri ni kwamba tulikuwa na communicate nao ndani ya shimo. Hiyo ndio party, hiyo ndio ilitupea morali ya kwenda. Nikaambia wenzangu sisi tujitume. Sasa hiyo ndio uzuri tulikuwa nayo. Tulikuwa na nguvu kwa sababu tulikuwa naongea nao huko ndani. Wanatutia nguvu. Sasa tunaendelea mpaka sasa hivi yenye tumewatoa.
Hii kazi na kuanga pia ni bahati mbaya kama ajali, unaona. Basi ilikuwa crack juu kafunikiwa jamaa chini, unaona. Asikabidi hatuwezi ngoja watu wengi wakuje, asikabidi sasa sisi wenye tuko tufa.
One by one they were pulled from the more than 100 feet deep mines that have horizontal and vertical corridors which have been in existence for several decades. This particular mine, they say, has not had activities but came to life 3 months ago. By close of business Thursday, 9 had been rescued, 1 confirmed dead, while 2 still stuck under.
My brother alikuwa ndani ambaye ametoka, na pia my son alikuwa ndani ametoka, lakini inaniuma kwa sababu wengi wanne wangali chini.
Shida yenye tuko nayo tunajifanyia na tuna nguvu ya kuwa na vifaa yenye tatosha kufanya kazi yetu. Kwa hiyo vile wenzangu walisema lazima serikali isonge karibu na sisi na itusaidie vile tunaweza kuepuka na mikasa kama hii. Unajua mwenye njaa wakati anajaribu kwa uwezo wake anaenda hata mahali kwenye hata faulu vizuri.
The miners decrying what they term as neglect, even as the authorities fault them for courting death. News of one of the miners' death breaking their kins. These visible cracks on the walls of adjacent houses, a clear indication the soils are loose, and this could be a time bomb.
I'm sounding a warning that we will not tolerate anybody who will be working, especially on these tunnels at night, because we realize that these people were here at night. From 7 a.m. is when the soil fell on them, and up to now we are only able to rescue 8 who have been rescued just this morning.
Even before the day ended, another mine collapsed at Emachesiru village in Shinyalu in the same county, killing a 67-year-old man while 1 was rescued. Alan Ochanda, KTN News.
Family and friends of the late Professor George Magoha assembled at the Consolata Shrine in Nairobi today for a requiem mass. Senior government officials, including Magoha's former cabinet colleagues, eulogized him as a great Kenyan who pursued his work with diligence. Now, his widow, Dr. Barbara Magoha, shared her memories of Magoha from back when they dated in Nigeria over 40 years ago. Willie Lusige reports.
It was a solemn mood during former education CS Professor George Magoha's requiem mass at the Consolata Shrine, Westlands in Nairobi. Family members, relatives and friends got the opportunity to remember the late Magoha.
He always prepared for the battle. That's why they said he was obsessed with success.
His wife, Dr. Barbara Magoha, whom they have been married for over 40 years, remembered her husband, Professor Magoha, as her protector, saying they watched over each other's back.
I'll never complain. I had him for 40 years. I'll be very ungrateful if I did that.
She fondly remembered when she told her parents that she wanted to get married to the former CS, who later became a scholar, surgeon, administrator, educator, and public servant.
As a couple, we worked through that. The fact that a vision was made did not mean that everything was going to be smooth. He was not perfect, neither was I. Neither did we have a perfect relationship.
He was often compelled to portray himself as a firm man with a voracious appetite for success in order to get things done.
He projected an image of a no-nonsense conservative in public, aided by his height and sturdy body build. His former colleagues at the University of Nairobi terming his leadership as exceptional.
We also know that he had many brothers and sisters in the Starehe alumni.
Beyond our borders, in the East Africa region, Professor led the medical councils of the East African community in ensuring that the countries in East Africa can be able to share medical practitioners when needed.
Life committed to building excellence and standards in every way. Not many doctors leave such a legacy of such dedication to excellence.
Magoha had this mantra: do it with passion or not at all.
The mass held on Thursday, February 9th, was attended by many leaders, among them current and former cabinet secretaries.
I served with Professor Magoha in the same cabinet, but my relationship with the Magoha family dates back some 83 years ago, when my mother became an orphan and his Mama Sarah, that is the mother of Magoha, who took in my mother and brought my mother up.
Magoha, son of Magoha, has exited the stage when the ovation was loudest. Thank you for celebrating his life with me.
All the burial activities will now shift to Nyanza. On Friday, the late will be ferried to Yala Primary School, and then on Saturday, his burial will take place at Umiru Village, Yala, in the county of Siaya. Will Sige, KTN News at Consolata Shrines in Nairobi.
And on that note, KTN Prime takes a break. We will be back with a lot more news after this.